Thank everybody for being here. Thank you, Sheriff. Um, just to give you some background information, I founded that 3 years ago, and it was at the request of a inmate here. Actually, had just got out of the Alamance County Jail and had needed some assistance in transitioning to his new life, as I call it. About maybe 3 or 4 months ago, that same individual came to me in a car that was not his. All his belongings was in the car, and he said that he wanted to give me a sword that he had. And I asked him, I said, why do you want to give me the sword? And I now realize that he knew that the belongings in the car that he had were actually going to be lost somewhere, and he wanted to make sure that sword that he had that meant something to him would be somewhere stable. That sword is now permanently displayed in my home, and when actually get office, we're going to put it in the office because it reminds me of what I told him when he gave me the sword. I said, this sword is like your life. And I said, it's been through many battles, and it shows the marks of those battles. I told him, though, that the marks on the sword, if it's in the right hands, I said, can be removed. Those blemishes can be removed just like the blemishes in your life can be removed if it's in the right hands. As a Christian, I, of course, was saying the right hands was that of a Savior. He thought about that. He's still struggling, but fast forward to Thanksgiving night. Because of the pandemic, for the first time in my life, I did not spend Thanksgiving with my mother's family, which was kind of rough. But as I was sitting there thinking about the situation, I knew that at the end of the day, I could get out of my car and went to my mother's house if I wanted to. I certainly talked to her that day and talked to her later that night, but I thought to myself about the individuals that are in the county jail. They cannot spend time with their family. They cannot make phone calls to their family. And so I had an idea. I put it in an email to all of the leadership of the Alamance County Sheriff Department, Sheriff and Chief Deputy Parker, Michelle, of course, like I said, the management team, said that what I would like to do is 2 things, because I believe Christmas time means 2 things to me, and that's hope that our Savior brings, and also love, again, love that our Savior brings. And I wanted to give hope and love on Christmas. So what I wanted to do was, one thing we do at Christmas time is we eat a lot. And I said, with the inmates and the individuals here, they can't decide what they want. They have to eat what is given to them. I wanted to put money on their account so they could get whatever they wanted to eat, and also if they want to make a call to a loved one, because a lot of the individuals don't have money to even make calls to their family members. And I know if it was me on Christmas Day and I could not make a call to my family ones, which that is what the holiday is about, it would be kind of depressing to me. So I sent that email out. The first person I got a response back was Michelle, who thought it was a great idea, but I knew Michelle she's easy. I knew that was going to be easy to get. But then I got a response from the sheriff who said, let's do it, which was not shocking to me, because anytime that we want to do anything for the inmates that makes sense, we're allowed to do that. Later on, I told him we had an issue that I think we need to address for the holidays for the individuals here. And I said we have community members that are willing to address those issues. Those are the stakeholders in this community. We didn't have to march, we didn't have to debate, we didn't have to argue. We just simply had to ask the people in the community who have a stake in this community, who are concerned about this community, we have a need, and can we address those needs? When we gave out the mask and the soap earlier this year, same thing, I addressed it to the sheriff, said this is what we wanted to do. Of course, he said he was willing to let us do that. I told my pastor, Dr. Covington at Ebenezer, he said, well, Mike, it's a great idea. We'll give you some money. I told another friend of mine, Jim Albright, who's a former council member here, who attends the First Methodist Church here in Graham. With those two churches, we did not have to reach out to anybody else in the community. They came up with the funding for the Mask in the Soul. Well, this was going to be a big endeavor because we at least wanted at least $10 on the inmates' balance sheet, and we knew at that time it was over 300 individuals incarcerated. So we knew that was going to be at least $3,000. So we wanted to reach out to our stakeholders in this community. Dr. Covington sent out the email, and we got an immediate response. While talking with the sheriff and chief deputy about another situation, I was told that the sheriff department was going to match the donations or whatever we got. The top donation that we got from one of the churches was $750. The sheriff doubled that with $1,500 donation. And when we told that to ministers, they were very happy that our sheriff wanted to make sure that our inmates and the individuals here in the jail was had some type of Christmas cheer. It is good to work, and I consider the sheriff department partners, as well as I do the DA, who have helped expedite people out of the jail. I think historically low numbers here at the jail, and I think that's because of the partnership that ACT has with the sheriff department in the Alamance County DA's office. But working with partners, as I do in my private business, it is good to have people that are like-minded. Of course, my personal belief as a Christian is that everybody is somebody. That is one of the things that ACT make sure that we advocate for the individuals here at the jail. And number two is that everybody has rights. Regardless of what their situation in life is, they have rights and they are somebody. When you're dealing with the leadership here at the county jail, they also believe that. As a matter of fact, I told some of the ministers in the conference call yesterday while we were back in the conference room, and a lot of things are solved back in that conference room that people don't ever know about. We don't call the media, we don't need to have a presser or anything like that. We sit and say, here's the need, and sheriff and management, here's what we need, and they are always quick to the call and to answer that call. But as we was talking yesterday in the conference room, Major Fortner, we were talking about individuals, what we have to do in the future to help individuals. And Major Fortner said, you know, a lot of individuals, this is why I tell some of the ladies and gentlemen that's in the jail, are looking for something. They have a hole in their heart. And this was 3 people in there that was talking about policy, but we went back to our beliefs. And we talked about that a lot of the individuals are trying to fill that hole with drugs and toxic relationships, which get them into the situation that they're in. I have talked to probably 70 or 80% of the people here in the jail, individuals in the jail, and I would say 90 to 95% of those people are here indirectly or directly because of drugs. And that is something that we have to, as a society, do something about. This department, believe it or not, is working with us to do something about that, because 3 other individuals, and I know I'm being a little long-winded, but this is very important. 3 other individuals that we have helped to get out of jail. I've always say to not go back, you gotta change people, places, and things. You can't deal with the same people, places, and things. And some of them know if they go back to even family members, they are gonna get back into trouble. So 2 of those individuals are, the family members have gotten them hotels, and one of them family members were able to get them an apartment. However, a person with addiction, that is one of the worst things that could happen. To be in an apartment or a hotel room by yourself at Christmas time is not good. The individual has too much time on their hand, and the predators, as what I call them, that are out there that are willing to use those individuals to get them back on drugs, to get them back hooked on drugs so they can use them for illegal activities. They're going to find those hotel rooms. They're going to find where that individual is at. So I had talked to the sheriff, and I think this is something that we're going to be doing next year, is making sure that we have a place to house people who get out of jail, who don't want to go back to the situation. A lot of these people are fighting to stay out of this jail. And society, as a society, we need to do better to help them. I tell the individuals that your present situation does not have to be your permanent destination. Just because you are here right now does not mean that this is where you're going to be for the rest of your life, or doesn't mean that you're going to come back here. But we have to do our job. And what we're doing is letting them know that there's somebody that loves them on this holiday. There is somebody that believes in them on this holiday, and somebody that cares for them. This money, and I was told today by Major Young in an email that exactly $15 per inmate was put on their accounts. That is very important. Doesn't just buy them something to eat on Christmas Day, but a lot of the individuals do not have money to make phone calls, not just phone calls to families, but I get a lot of conversations about they want to call treatment centers, and they don't have the money to call treatment centers because, of course, these treatment centers don't collect calls. So some of the people I've already told them that they were going to be getting some for Christmas have said that they're going to use some of those funds to call treatment centers so they can have somewhere to go and start their road to recovery. So I just want to, I think the sheriff's going to read off the names of all the churches and individuals that gave to this. There are going to be other donations that will be coming in. I want to make it plain that every dollar will be accounted for. Every church and individuals that gave to this program will get a letter of thanks from the sheriff's office and the total dollar amount that was recovered. Any monies that come in, because we had to have a cutoff point, so any monies that come in, we talked with the sheriff and Major Young yesterday. Those monies will be set aside in a special fund just for the individuals here at the jail. So if there's something that is needed, that money can come out of that fund. But every dime will be accounted for, and every dime will go toward the inmates. There is not administrative costs, there is not clerical costs. All the money that was collected will go directly to the inmates. And so again, the sheriff's going to read off the names of the individuals that donated. But again, I want to thank the sheriff for donating $1,500 to the inmates' Christmas. So on behalf of those individuals that I talk to or communicate with, I want to thank you and your staff for donating those funds to this program. And I look forward to working with the sheriff and doing other programs in the future, which we will be doing, and look forward to making sure that we have a place to house these individuals when they get out of here so they don't have to come back to the jail. People are wanting help, and I think at this time of the year, we should get in that hope that there's help is on the way. And so I want to present to the sheriff a couple of things. We want to present first the cards that will be going out, and the cards will simply have the inmate's name on the front of the card, and the card will have his or her first name, and what we want to do is personalize it, so every card will say Happy Holidays, and it will be a signature from Michael or Terry. It will not just be from ACT or the Sheriff Department. It will be an individual card like we get. We want to get that to you. Thank you, Sheriff. And the dollar amount, the checks that we received from all the churches and individuals, we want to also present you with that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And one more thing, in the communications that I have with the individuals here at the jail, when we came to do the mask in the soap in the early part of the summer or spring when we did that. I've had communication with some of the ladies and gentlemen that are incarcerated here, and they said sometimes they have to wash the mask. So we are dedicated to making sure that I think this is enough for each inmate to have 2 masks of their own, so they don't have to share or wash them or whatever. And we are dedicated to making sure that each month that we will provide the sheriff department with more masks. So for the new new people that's coming in, and if there's a shortage or anything, every month we will be bringing you some masks. And this was donated by some individuals. If I could just read those names real quick, and the name of the organization, which is James T. Diggs Golden Circle. My mother will kill me if I don't mention her organization. Mary Graves Woods, which is my mother. Deborah Terrain, Barbara Sellers, Sheila Florence, also Mr. Alan Blue of the Burlington Housing Authority. My name is on there, and Ms. Frances Watlington. So we want to give you these for the inmates and let you know that there'll be more continuously coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, it's really been great working with ACT and the director, Michael Graves. You know, here at Christmas time, if you sat and think about it, how would you like to be locked back in a cell and not be with your family on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day to enjoy a meal? That's exactly what these individuals are going through. And I can tell you right now, if each and every one of you would sit and think, I guarantee you've made mistakes in your life just like these individuals have. However, our society says they must pay their debt to society. And that is, having to be locked up or bonds put on them where they can't get out. And when Mr. Graves, Director Graves, came to me and told me what the churches were going to do, I felt that we ought to get involved with it also. And our department, our office come together and made up money, and we did. We're giving $1,500, but that's just a small part of what needs to be done with those individuals that are incarcerated. I want to thank the churches that donated money, and I'd like to give those names right now because I think it's very important. It shows how our community here can come together to accomplish things that many other people wouldn't think could be accomplished. First, United Methodist Church in Graham, donation. Grace Outreach Ministry, donation. Mr. and Ms. Clarence Johnson, Jr. of Reedsville, donation. Gethsemane Christian Church, donation. Ebenezer United Methodist Church of Christ, donation. Maple Grove Baptist Church, donation. Gospel Tabernacle United Holy Church, donation. First Baptist Church of Graham, donation. James T. Diggs, Golden Circle 308, donation. And certainly I have to hand it to Director Michael Graves for helping bring this together, along with Michelle Mills, our diversity coordinator. But right now, $15 an inmate, I'm sure it's going to make them happy that night of Christmas Eve. Just maybe, it will make them realize that they are people here that cares about their future and what's going to happen to them. Hopefully that will happen. Hopefully they'll be able to get phone calls to their family on Christmas Eve, even though they can't be there. And this is something that I think Alamance County has always stepped up in need. And it's being done every day here. And a lot of times it goes unrecognized, but it don't by the people involved. We get just as much, I want to say it, feel good about helping other people. And that's what it's all about. And who knows, someday it may be you or me that winds up with a shot of bad luck. Hopefully not violating the law, but may be in need. And hopefully people will step up and help there also. I want to thank all the churches and all the people that helped bring this about. And it's been an honor working with you, Director Graves, with actually changing together. And I appreciate your efforts and everybody else's efforts to bring this about. At this time, I'll open it up for any questions.